We're very privileged at Chiswick Buzz TV today. We're here with James Marshall. You're the local studies librarian for the Hounslow Library Service. You're going to give us a fascinating insight into some of the treasures that our libraries hold. I see on the table before us, James, we have a fascinating array of books and documents. Can you start to talk us through what they are?
There's a very wide variety of stuff, and we're always glad to add donations to the collection. It's amazing how much of this stuff has been rescued piecemeal from skips and all sorts of places. This is the Brentford Magistrates Court register of all the pubs in the Brentford licensing district, and so you can see the names of pubs and beer houses here, and the brewery that owned them, and the landlord. And this is the period, I think, 1907 to 1911. We don't have a full run. These two happen to be rescued by chance, but it is wonderful to have a directory of the old pubs here. So many are disappearing these days and becoming supermarkets or being turned into flats or being lost entirely, and they're wonderful landmarks.
Fantastic. And what about this long, narrow one, James? What's this one?
Well, this is another car boot sale rescue, which was given to us, and it is rather a sad book because it is the register of dead bodies which were put into the public mortuary at Brentford. And these were people who drowned in the river or who'd been found dead, and they had to be identified, and so an inquest often had to be held on them. And again, we haven't got every volume, we've just got an odd one which was rescued, but it's a very moving little book, and we've managed to have it rebound. I try and get a little bit of binding done every year with a local bookbinder, the Blissets of Acton.
Chiswick V2. What is this one, James?
Well, that's the Second World War. Brentford and Chiswick were together by this time, and what we have here is the Borough Bomb Book, the records of bombs which fell on Brentford and Chiswick throughout the Second World War. And again, a volunteer has provided a wonderful little street index so that people can come and find out about incidents which their family remembers and has passed down stories of. But Chiswick was the place, Staveley Road in fact, where the very first of the German V2 rockets landed. And the Brentford and Chiswick Local History Society created a little set of memorial albums for this, and went to visit North Germany and Peenemünde, which was where these awful rockets were launched from, and presented a copy of this little book to the mayor of the Peenemünde district. And this is a memorial to the people there that were killed. It's photographs from the National Archives and so on, material from local papers, and a record of the ceremonial proceedings around the creation of the little memorial, which is on the Staveley Road site by a little electricity substation today, commemorating the first of the V2s, which landed, I think, in September 1944, and they went on falling on London throughout the period until March 1945.
And James, what collection or book or portfolio are you most excited about? What's your favourite in the whole of Chiswick Library?
Well, I think we shall have to open a box and have a look, don't you? This is The Antiquities of England and Wales by Boswell, published in 1786. And it is an armchair travel book.
A big armchair.
You'd have to have it on your knee. And really, this is, goodness me, I've opened it at Stonehenge. This was owned by the overseer or foreman of the Brentford Booths gin distillery. And he was friends with a butcher who lived in the town, whose name was Joseph William Mallord Marshall. And he was the uncle of young Joseph William Mallord Turner. He was his mother's brother. Sadly, Turner's mother was mentally ill and often incapable of looking after him, and his father was busy making the family's living as a barber in Covent Garden, I believe. And so the young Turner was sent out to stay with his uncle in Brentford, in a cottage beside the Weir public house. And even at the age of 10 or 11, he was a dab hand with a little watercolour brush and a palette of paints. And this became known, And his uncle's Fred, the distillery overseer, said, well, I have this new book, newly published, and I'd like you to colour in the engraved plates, which are throughout the book. And I will pay you twopence a plate to do this. And so this is the famous Turner's first paid commission.
Wow.
And there are over 70 plates which are coloured in very, very carefully, very delicately. And the book in 1921 was given by the descendants of the distillery overseer to Brentford Public Library and Museum, as it then was, as a curiosity. And it's a wonderful thing to have. Lots of people have come and looked at it over the years and have commented on it and have written little bits in biographies of Turner, and it's been filmed on television, little documentaries about Turner's life. It is a wonderful thing to have and a great privilege to have it.
So, can members of the public come in and access the archives here?
We are open 2 days a week at the moment, and sometimes some extra days. Anybody is welcome to make an appointment, but don't come from some distance and expect somebody to be here, because we have the Hounslow collection to run as well, which is of equal size to this one, and we can do 2 days here and 2 days at Hounslow each week. Next year, we hope to extend our opening hours to 3 days at each site, but for the moment it's just 2 days a week, and do make an appointment and ask us what we've got and let us know you want to come.
So James, thank you ever so much for our fascinating insight into some of the archive material you'll have here today. Part 2, James is going to be giving us access to the Chiswick Library Archives in the basement, with even more books, some special paintings and some newspapers. So we can't wait to see that. So thank you again, James.